Hello YouTube, what I've got here is a Stoeger M3K Freedom 3-gun edition. Before I purchased this shotgun, I looked at a number of competitors and tried to figure out what fit my needs the best, and in spite of all the information out on the internet and the wonderful videos, I didn't find exactly what I was looking for, and I was still sweating it right up until the second time that I took this gun to the range. So let me give you a quick overview of why I selected this shotgun over the competition, and let you know a little bit about my first experiences in the first 200 rounds through the gun. Well, as far as this shotgun is concerned, I looked at the Mossberg 930JM Pro and the Beretta 1301. The Mossberg, lots of good things about it. It's a gas-driven shotgun. The Mossberg is, not the Stoeger here that we're looking at here. And a lot of things I had heard, both online and from people that I shoot with, all were that it ran very dirty. It was a very challenging gun to keep clean. I'm a shooter that after I go shooting, I clean my guns after every time I go to the range or shoot trap or whatever I'm doing. And so it's not too big of a deal, but it's something that kind of drives me nuts. The Beretta 1301, lots of good stuff out there, but that's a $1,000 shotgun, and this purchase was made after I went to a tactical shotgun shooting practice. Enjoyed it so much, had to get something better than my Remington 887, which is a pump gun. Pump guns don't work so well in 3-gun. You get tired very quickly. I thought I was pretty tough, but I'm not so tough. So, short version, I ended up with the M3K after kind of a split decision online, but specifically two friends of mine that I shoot with, each had said this was actually the better choice simply because it was cleaner, lots of accessories on the market, lots of room to grow with the shotgun, and the price point. Picked this up from Reed's out in Oregon for $585, and I just couldn't say no. So let me show you a little bit about this shotgun and what it is, what it's got. The Freedom, the M3K edition, has got a black synthetic stock, is what they list on the website, but the primary difference is right there. It's cited online as being an MOA Precision Plus 6 extended magazine tube. The shotgun itself in total weighs in at 7.3 pounds, whether it's the M3K or the M3K Freedom, and the only difference is that extended shotgun tube. The extended tube takes the overall length to 48 inches, where the standard unit without that tube is 45 3/4. Aesthetically, I think it's a good looking shotgun. Let's look over this stuff. Some of the things that make the M3K what it is, and actually before I get into that, there wasn't a whole lot in the box, but let me show you what came with the shotgun. I got 3 choke tubes, I got a cylinder, improved cylinder, and a modified. I've got the modified in the unit now. Got a choke tube wrench, and I've got 3 buttstock adapters, and you can actually shim up the buttstock right there and kind of fit it a little bit to your needs. So let's get this stuff out of the way, and we can kind of go over some of the cool stuff the shotgun brings to us. So the first thing that you notice right out of the gate is the oversized charging handle. For a 3-gun, that seems like a pretty cool feature to have, pretty useful feature to have, since I'm not planning on being a competitor in 3-gun that's really looking for seconds. It's kind of in the coolness points. I like the blue anodized finish on that. The other nice thing is the oversized bolt release. This is the first semi-automatic shotgun I've had before, and so I'm used to seeing the button bolt releases on friends that have semi-automatic shotguns, and this is actually super nice. I have to say that it's easy the first 2 times I shot this thing just to reach up and just give it a little pop and to close that bolt just like that. Very easy to operate. We've got an oversized safety here There's some talk online about how this is a challenge as far as oversized safeties go. I didn't think that was the case. I thought it was pretty straightforward, easy to manipulate. I didn't really have any problems with it. So, it does its job. There are a lot of aftermarket units if you want to change that up. You've got a clear chamber unit right here, and so if you're shooting 3-gun and you've got birdshot in the barrel, you can actually hit this and hit the charging handle, and this will not cycle around out of the magazine tube. Will allow you to throw a slug in if you're shooting at a distance target and you're shooting slugs. One of the big things people talk about with this shotgun is the extended lifter. You can see it right there, and more importantly, the larger and kind of cut out magazine or loading port. I'm not a competitive shooter. I'm just looking to have fun with this, and it does the job. This was much smoother as opposed to the Mossberg. I was told that once I get to the point that I'm quad loading, that will be a nice difference. So this just goes in. Not feeling where my thumbs are going to get jammed up in there too terribly much, but I'm sure I will endeavor to kind of succeed all the same with that. Moving to the front of the gun, you see a fiber optic sight right there. One color, red. All my pistols and other things that I have fiber optic sights on, I like the fluorescent yellow, which is always just kind of a nicer thing. But the red, it's nice. As far as a shotgun is concerned, I do a whole lot of trap shooting. It's always intuitive unless you're shooting for a target with a slug. So that sight is not actually something I plan on using too terribly much, but this is something new. We talked about the MOA Precision Magazine extension right there. Stoeger's got it more blue. They've got their logo right here in the buttstock, which is kind of cool. One thing I was not pleased with was the checkering. I don't know how well you can see it right there. The checkering is not cut very deep. Now, I've taken this out twice and run a couple hundred rounds through it, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I did not have problems with this. Here's a buttstock checkering. You can just see that it's just not cut very deep. I've got a stippling kit. I will probably end up stippling all around that pistol grip just to give myself a lot better bite with gloves. But for some reason I've got it in my head with 3-gun modifications to the stock and the the handguard would eliminate me from certain classes. But that's something I don't know about and need to know about. We talked about the buttstock shims, talked about the choke tubes that are included. Something else that was nice, if you look up here on top, you'll see where right on top of the receiver's been drilled and tapped out if you wanted to put a Picatinny rail on there, which definitely gives you some options. Do that. Look at that rib. That rib is just really, really sharp looking. That's definitely going to help with some dispersing some heat off the barrel. But a nice ribbed barrel like that is pretty sharp looking. Sling points right up here. This cap right by the brake dam. This piece right here, this little swing swivel here. While that's really functional, I'm sure, that absolutely drives me bananas. There's some upgrades on the market available, and I'll talk about those in a second to kind of get rid of that and move the sling point elsewhere. The back of the stock, you've got a little mount right there where you can mount your sling there. There's the recoil pad, kind of thick. Didn't really have any problems with it shooting it. I'm probably going to end up rounding this off. I did not have a problem shooting in a sweatshirt and a wool overcoat with it catching on the coats, but I could see that happening, so I'm probably going to trim that down just to kind of make things a little bit smoother for myself. Overall fit and finish of this gun, it's a nice gun. I've got a number of shotguns. This is my 4th shotgun. Like I said, I've got a Remington 887, which, don't judge me, but I like that gun. I've got a Stoeger 3000, just an over and under. Not a bad gun. My primary trap gun is a Beretta 687, which is a nice shotgun. Fit and finish here. This is not a bad shotgun, and embarrassingly, I feel like I shoot better with this than I do my Beretta 687. So for break-in, Stoeger asked that you run 200 rounds of heavy load through it. Heavy load, I wasn't really sure what that meant, so I ended up running just 5 1-ounce slugs through it, 5 rounds of double-aught buck, and then I ended up getting 200 rounds of Winchester AA 7.5 shot. But I got the 3.5 dram, 2 3/4 inch shell, 1,300 foot per second shells. It's a little bit hotter than what I normally shoot for trap, but I tell you, when I pumped off 10 rounds, this is a 10+1 capacity shotgun. When I pumped off 10 rounds quickly on a rifle range, just seeing what it felt like, it reminded me the first time I shot a 12 gauge shotgun when I was 8 years old, and it is painful. Point of impact and point of aim. At 50 yards, on the 50-yard range with the double-aught buck and the slug, as well as the 7.5 bird shot that I shot on the rifle range. Point of impact, point of aim at 50 yards is pretty straight on. Shot a couple hundred rounds of trap from the 16-yard line, and it does well. It does very well. No problems at all. In those 200 rounds, I had one failure to feed. I'm not sure if that's the shotgun. The purpose of breaking the shotgun in is so that if you run lighter loads, the shotgun, it'll kind of break in the springs a little bit, and you can run lighter loads. 3.5 drams, 1,300 foot per second, 7.5 shot is not a lighter round, but I also had a couple of coats. As far as running lighter rounds and breaking it in, that's important because the Stoeger, just like the Benelli M2 and a number of other of the Beretta family of products, this is an inertia drive gun. The Mossberg, as I mentioned, is a piston-driven gun. It runs off the gas to help it cycle around, where this is more of an inertia gun. Shooting it, that was an unusual feeling it cycle. It's almost like the first time you shoot an AR-15 and you hear the spring in the buttstock buzzing. There was no sound like that, but it's an unusual feeling for a traditional over and under person. Very pleased with it. Cleaning the shotgun, actually breakdown. Let me touch base on that real quickly. As soon as I got the gun new, before I put any rounds through it, removed the trigger group, removed everything out of the shotgun, took it down pretty far, took the bolt apart, washed this grease that they have the shotgun packed in. I don't know what kind of grease it is. I've got a couple of Mosins, and it really made me think of Cosmoline. So I washed all that stuff out, wiped everything down good, hot water to wash it, that grease. Wiped everything out good, used a compressor to kind of blow some air on it, and immediately just wiped everything down with Rem oil. Can't go wrong with Rem oil. So what's next? Probably going to take it out to the range and try to run a few hundred more rounds through it. But I've got some upgrades on the way. A couple of things I'm looking at is with the blue charging handle and bolt release. I noticed that MOA Precision offers a number of different sized magazine extension tubes. So I went ahead and ordered up the blue magazine extension tube and the brace, which will brace between the tube and the top barrel. And that'll be, the brace is black, the tube will be blue. I'm told it does not match the blue of the charging handle exactly, but it's pretty close. What I ended up getting was the Stoeger M3K Deluxe Upgrade Kit, or whatever they call it, and it comes with the magazine tube extension. I went with the 7+1, so I'm probably going to get about Well, actually, it will be 2 3/4 or 3 inches longer than it is now, which is going to be kind of odd but cool looking at the same time. It got the low drag follower, and I got that in red, so that way I'm not going to have as many issues. The kit, aside from the tube, the brace, the low drag follower comes with a new spring for the magazine tube extension, and so it'll be kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And it comes with a new cap that will actually replace this rascal right here. And the brace, I think I'm going to be able to put a sling point on that brace, but we'll have to see. If nothing else, I can tie something on the barrel. I'll figure out something, but this has got to go. It drives me nuts. A couple other modifications that are on the immediate short list. The Benelli extractor and extractor spring fit the Stoeger M3K. Apparently the Stoeger unit is a lower grade metal and it's not quite as sharp, so I went ahead, $20 upgrade, figured I'd go ahead and get the Benelli part and just put it in. And so if I never have a problem, I would prefer to wonder if I would have had a problem than know for sure that I did. Also got the trigger spring kit, the 2 springs that will adjust the trigger pull. I do not have a gauge to see how many pounds that trigger is. It definitely feels every bit of 10 pounds. I've done trigger jobs on a number of pistols, specifically in M&P 9 Pro, and that trigger is smooth as glass and just breaks like glass or an icicle. This trigger is the other end of the spectrum. It's not sloppy. There's a little bit of take up, but if you're running and shooting steel, I guess it's fine. I didn't notice anything in the heat of the moment, but taking deliberate aim, it does not have a clean break as I'm used to with other things. But then again, this is not a high-end Beretta that someone spent a few $1,000s on. For 3-gun, I think you'd want a heavier trigger. So we'll kind of see how that goes. When those parts come, I will try to do some install videos and see how we go. But until then, it's my Stoeger M3K. I apologize for the video quality and if I left out anything. It's kind of just putting some notes together here on video form, hoping that I can help somebody out with the questions I had. So any questions that I didn't cover that you had in the comments below, just put something down and let me know what you think. If you have a question, shoot it to me and I'll answer it as best I can. Until then, have a good day.